don't be embarrassed when you try to take your money out of the bank and the tellers and the people who work at the banks or the credit unions are gonna act like, well, you have to tell us before you come, and you might only be trying to get out $3,000 or $4,000. They don't have any money, and this has gone on for years and years, where you would try to get money out of the bank, and they would just act like, well, we don't hardly have any money here, and I just thought that was always odd. Even if you just were getting out 10,000, 15,000, stuff like that, you likely were going to have to go to multiple branches and get maybe 4,000 or 5,000 out of each branch. It's very, very strange, and that was before this stuff is really collapsing. So don't be embarrassed if they try to put pressure, and I've seen people posting stuff on Instagram. People have posted stuff over on TikTok and stuff like that, where they're in there trying to get money out of different banks, whether it be Wells Fargo or wherever, and they're just kind of acting almost dismissive, like, well, you got to tell us, like, you can't just come in here and just get your own money. I mean, come on. So don't be embarrassed. Put pressure on them, because that's what they want you to feel like. They want you to feel embarrassed that, oh, it's covered, it's backed. Why do you need this? Almost like you're weird for wanting your own money. Now, that being said, with this whole crypto rally, obviously Bitcoin is leading the charge, and definitely having a position in Bitcoin is certainly important. But oftentimes we see this stuff rotate to the other strong alts, whether that be Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin. It'll rotate to the stuff like Phantom, Solana, Avalanche, that kind of stuff. Solana goes down every week, but people chase after it. So various opportunities like that could be a way to catch a bigger multiple coming in if Bitcoin continues to surge like this, because I've went back and forth. Like I said, Bitcoin a week ago looked extremely weak at $20,000. It looked like it was going to go down to 17,000, 16,000, 15,000. It looked very weak. Looked like it was rolling over. And then we had this banking collapse situation, and all bets were off. People wanted to get out of the stable coins, too much counterparty risk. They really want their money in the banks. They started looking around, like I said, the other investment opportunities, whether that be vehicles, whether that be land, whether it be houses, apartment complex, stuff like that. Everything's bubbly, very bubbly. So crypto actually makes a lot of sense. So people are kind of running after it. Now, how long is that going to last? Or how many of these mining outfits that were broke, basically, and were mining at a deficit, who were holding on by, the skin on their teeth, how many of them need to liquidate some funds to pay off some bills and stuff like that, because electricity costs have went up, power costs have went up, all this kind of stuff. So, that's yet to be seen. Now, that being said, like I said, you're not gonna, if you're taking positions, you're building positions in the strong alts and in Bitcoin, you're gonna be okay ultimately. Sorry about this sun. I'm trying to block it here. You're gonna be okay. So I would look for those opportunities. And again, the HIVE Dollar actually held up extremely well during this kind of issue with USDC and DAI and all that kind of stuff. And it really kind of exposed some of these other stable coins that they're, and to be honest with you, I always felt like, okay, USDC would be kind of like pretty solid. That's the strongest thing out there for the ones that are backed by $1 supposedly in a bank account. And then I would say BUSD was second. Well, BUSD looks stronger, but Paxos has stopped being able to mint BUSD, which is a weird situation, a weird banking situation. But it's almost like they still have their own stable coin, the Paxos dollar, and they still have Paxos gold. So it almost seems to be something to do with Binance, potential issues, legal issues that Binance is running into. And I thought it was weird, but CZ even tweeted that they offloaded some of the BUSD actually into TUSD and USDT, which Tether's scary. TUSD, again, is another one of these that supposedly has a dollar for each one that's in the dollar in a bank account, supposedly. Again, how much we can trust these. HIVE Dollar is algorithmic, and I've talked about it a lot before, but 20% APR interest in the savings account that you can get paid out, and then also on Cub DeFi, a very similar type thing with the liquidity pool between Binance wrapped HIVE Dollar and BUSD. That's been a strong earner, and that's over 20%. So this is going to be the shakiest video. Maybe you guys should just listen. That being said, one of your bets could be if you feel like, okay, Bitcoin surge kind of run away from you a little bit, you could go lighter on Bitcoin and then go into these strong alts, because a lot of times people are going to roll profits from Bitcoin over to the strong alts at some point. Now, I don't know how long this run would be. Another thing to mention is that Fidelity opened it up for all their customers to be able to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, I guess, on their platform. Now, I don't suggest buying it that way, but if they are actually buying anything on the back end, that could be some additional buy pressure as well. If people that don't know as much about crypto and they don't have crypto accounts with Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase or these various different exchanges, they might kind of trust Fidelity more, and if Fidelity is buying some of it on the back end, that could be some buy pressure. But I don't suggest you buying it that way. I suggest you buy it and self-custody it on Ledger or Trezor hardware wallets, or some of it kind of in more of a software hot wallet, whether that be Exodus or something like that. And then also if you're doing some of the DeFi and you want to have a little more access to it on your phone, Trust Wallet has been a solid wallet that I've used a lot. And then also there's issues with MetaMask. I mean, I've used it a lot, but there was this thing that was coming out that was saying that MetaMask was made tracking people's IP addresses and their different wallet address balances and stuff like that. So I'm still using some MetaMask, but I don't know what's going to kind of come of that and why they were exactly doing that. So that's a little bit annoying, but I would say that is your next opportunity if you feel like this big Bitcoin bounce caught you off guard, which I understand I would, because things were looking weak, guys. It was rolling over and it kind of just looked like a classic kind of one of these head and shoulders kind of patterns that was just going to go down 17,000 or so, and then these banking collapses happen and stuff. So the narrative has changed, and that's just the beginning. These banks, again, like I said, they don't have any money. You want to be the first out the door. Get your money out, place it, even if you bought a bunch of guns, to be honest with you, shotgun shells, placed it in maybe some generators or something like that. Maybe you do buy buy old trucks, kind of like this one I'm driving, and something. But the used car market is out of whack still. But put it into something maybe tangible, other than it floating around out there. And the amount of people, this is one of the things that I've seen over and over again, whether it be with the crypto exchanges collapsing or whether it be with these banks. They kind of almost sort of play Russian roulette. They almost feel like it's not going to happen to them. And they sit there, and even though they're touting and they know these banks are broke and they know there's all these financial issues and our government has went off the rails and we're giving all this money to all these different countries and there's all this weird stuff going on, they know all that and they'll cite all that, but then they have their money just parked in the bank account, and you're just, I'm just shell-shocked, you know. I've just been shell-shocked, like scratching my head, like, be kidding me. They're like one of the cheerleaders for how off the rails we are, and then they don't take their own medicine, so to speak. So that being said, guys, I think it's better to take action and have a game plan with this whole thing than to be caught off guard, and then suddenly when the insurance doesn't work, or the Biden administration doesn't bail out your bank or your credit union, that you're not left high and dry, because that's your hard work. You've broke your back for something that the banks have just been able to conjure up out of thin air. So that being said, guys, protect your hard work, you know, protect your time, your investment, your livelihood, and all that stuff like that, and have a game plan. And again, like I said, the situation with crypto is so much stronger than a lot of other assets, because you can do so much with DeFi as far as the lending and the money market situation, that you can sit there and have it as a pillar of strength and then borrow against it and earn a return on some other mechanism like the HIVE Dollar, or some other liquidity pool or something else like that. Or you can buy it and then, you know, you could lever against it, and if you need money out of it, you could get some money out and get some cash out of a Bitcoin ATM or something like that, and, you know, live off of it, and, you know, get some cash, or just buy it straight away, buy some stuff online with the crypto places that accept crypto and stuff like that. So you can at least do something, get to some kind of tangible, actual physical thing. Anyway, guys, hopefully you guys feel safe, your funds are safe at this given time. And you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't, as far as, you know, how bad this whole, you know, recession, depression kind of scenario is going to get. Another thing to mention is that FHA, for people who are back behind on their loans, and I'd been saying this for a while, that they were going to go to these 40 or 50-year loans and kind of kick the can down the road, lower the payment for people and stuff like that. That's what they're doing. FHA, if you're behind on your FHA loan, suddenly they'll do a loan mod for 40 years instead of 30. And I kind of foresaw this coming. So it just, again, they're trying to plug the holes in the dike kind of thing, and you know, it's only going to go so far, and then at some point it's going to be too much, and there's going to be too many delinquencies with all these loans and all this other stuff out there, and all this debt. And what are they going to do with the student loan debt? You know, it's like a lot of these people have not paid anything on their student loans for like 3 years. So, you know, if they start that up this summer, which I just think they're just going to try to kick the can down the road even further, and try to get to the next election, because they want those votes. They want those votes, and they don't want those people to have to start paying and feel that pain of, you know, their lesbian basket weaving degree or whatever they got. So at the end of the day, things are not looking good, and I don't want to be some you know, the sky is falling kind of guy. It's just, you got to position yourself right, and you got to do what you can do to get out of this situation, and at least have something, because you know, obviously in the Great Depression, it got to a point where, you know, they were basically just practically just giving properties away, and at some point it gets bad enough that people are just tapped out, and that's it, and they're just very, very baseline survival kind of scenarios. And I'll tell you what, the cities, the big cities, those are a death trap, absolute death trap. People going berserk. You even have Walmart pulling out of places like Portland. It's chaos. Walmart pulls out of your city, you're not doing good. Anyway, guys, follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steam, Twitter, Hive, DTube, everywhere.